This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
The number one selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, out of botulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
Hello and welcome back to the British English podcast. I hope you're having a nice week. In today's episode, we're heading out of London to visit one of Britain's most famous landmarks, Stonehenge, which is 2 to 3 hours southwest of London. But this isn't a dry history lecture. Oh, no. You'll be following 3 fictional characters I've made up that go on a day out altogether. For some reason, I decided to include a posh boy from Surrey, don't know why, who's called Chris. Another Brit from East London, though, called Mike. So a bit of a Cockney accent, not fully Cockney, but East London. And then I thought it would be good to have a non-native in the story. And the Brits are showing the non-native around the UK. So I was like, what accent can I do that won't get me cancelled, at least in this moment in time? And I think the French accent is probably one of the safest. And I realised upon reflection that the sensitivity of doing accents these days is often based around how minority groups are made to feel in certain countries by how history has shaped our cultures. So anything that was colonised by the British Empire, I'd say is likely to get somebody like me in trouble. So if I was to do like an Indian accent or a generalised African accent, I know it was only certain countries in Africa that were colonised, but even so, I should be steering clear of that whole continent and India as well. I could probably do Italian safely and maybe Spanish, but again, there's a risk with Spanish because a lot of Central and South American people migrate to the US. And again, because of the minority status, it can come across as if a North American is punching down on a Central or South American culture by doing a Spanish accent. Whereas the French, well, to start, they too colonized a load of countries. And we have this sort of sibling rivalry being neighbours. And after learning about the royalty over the last 1,000 years, we've had a lot of overlap. So yes, the non-native coming to the UK is called Hugo. And he is incredibly, quote unquote, French, in my opinion of the stereotype. So just as a warning, if you are French, you might find this playlist of episodes utterly unbearable, or you might actually find them really amusing. I guess the choice is yours. But yes, in today's adventure, we're taking Hugo to Stonehenge. And as always, I've made a free PDF to go with this episode. It's got all the vocabulary and cultural notes so you can enjoy the story first and then go back and study the language in more detail. Plus, it includes exercises to help you get active with what you're learning today, which means you're 3 times more likely to remember it in the future. So, if you fancy improving your English while having a bit of a laugh and learning a few things about Britain along the way, settle in, grab a cuppa, and let's get into this short story about Stonehenge.
Welcome to
Only Murders in the Building,
the official podcast.
Join me, Michael Cyril Creighton, as we go behind the scenes with some of the amazing actors, writers, and crew from season 5.
The audience should never stop suspecting anything.
How can you not be funny crawling around on a coffin?
No, that's true.
Catch Only Murders in the Building official podcast, now streaming wherever you get your podcasts. And watch Only Murders in the Building, streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundle subscribers. Terms apply.
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify. Spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Stones and Stories, a story about ancient mysteries, modern tourists, and the British way of being underwhelmed by wonders. Scene 1, Salisbury train station platform. Mid-morning, the platform buzzes with a mix of tourists clutching guidebooks and locals who've clearly done this journey 1,000 times. Chris stands checking his watch, a proper National Trust guidebook tucked under his arm. Mike approaches with a meal deal and a can of Red Bull. Right then, where's our French explorer? He said he'd been meeting us here at past. I've mapped out the most efficient route to... Hugo appears, practically bouncing, taking photos of the station sign with his phone, waving excitedly, Bonjour, bonjour, I am so excited for these Salisbury stones. Oh, it's not Salisbury, mate, it's Salisbury. Like you're posh, but can't be bothered to finish the word properly. Salisbury. This is why English is impossible. Your spelling it lies to people, no? French people don't say no. Do they say no at the end? Spanish people do, but again, apologies to all French people for this episode. Consulting his guidebook. Right, so I've researched the optimal visitor experience. We'll start with the exhibition, take the shuttle bus to avoid the crowds. Chris, it's rocks in a field. Don't overthink it. But they are ancient rocks, yes? With druids and sacrifices and, how do you say, mystical energy? Well, actually, the druid connection is largely a Victorian invention. The monument predates Celtic druidism by centuries. And there's a gift shop. Can't forget the gift shop where you can buy a plastic Stonehenge for 20 quid. This is perfect. I love British efficiency, ancient mystery plus commercial convenience. A local bus pulls up with Stonehenge displayed on the front. Right, transport sorted, though I did consider suggesting we walk. It's only 8 miles and builds character, you know. Knowing you, mate, I was half expecting you to demand we march all the way from London like we're in a bloody army. Climbing onto the bus. Oh, I've got to kind of act that. Climbing onto the bus. This is adventure. Where am I going with this French accent? Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. Je m'appelle Hugo. This is an adventure. I am going to see the most British thing of all. Wait till he realises it's basically a very expensive car park with rocks. Scene 2. The journey and first glimpse. The bus winds through the Wiltshire countryside. Hugo has his face pressed to the window. Chris is reading aloud from his guidebook. Mike is trying to nap. Construction began around 3100 BCE, making it older than the Egyptian pyramids. In France, we have Karnak, very impressive stones in lines, much more organized than English stones, I think. Well, Stonehenge isn't about organization. It's about astronomical alignment and ritual significance. Eyes still closed, okay? How am I going to read this? Got to learn my lines. It's about making tourists pay 30 quid and stand behind a rope. But the mystery, the romance, who built it, why? Oh, that's exactly it. Nobody knows for certain. It could have been a temple, a burial ground, an astronomical computer. Or some Neolithic lad with too much time on his hands and a thing for heavy lifting. The bus crests a hill and suddenly, there it is, Stonehenge, rising from the plain. Mon Dieu, it's... Fair play. Always gets you, doesn't it? That's the moment, right there, when you realise you're looking at something that was ancient when the Romans got here. It's smaller than I thought, but also bigger. How is this possible? Let's take a moment to give Hugo some time to soak it all in, so that I can remind you about how to 3x your learning with today's lesson by grabbing that PDF I've made to accompany this adventure to Stonehenge for you. It includes a list of intermediate to advanced vocabulary and cultural references with definitions and example sentences, along with exercises to help you get active with it all, along with an answer key. Plus, you'll get the transcript of the whole story too. To get this, scan the QR code on screen right now or click the link in the pinned comments, show notes or description box below. That link will send you to this page. Pop your name and email in to sign up to my mailing list so I can send you the PDF that accompanies this story about Stonehenge. All right, I think Hugo is ready to continue his adventure. That is proper British, that. Underwhelming and overwhelming at the same time. Scene 3. The Visitor Centre. Inside the modern visitor centre, tourists queue for audio guides while Hugo marvels at the replica Neolithic house. Tangled in audio... Oh, I suppose I could pretend that this is it. How does this... where does this piece... Chris, I am trapped by technology. Just one earpiece, Hugo. The other one's for... Well, there isn't another person, is there? Ah, I can hear the lady. She has a very serious voice, very, very proper. My French accent is all over the place. They move toward the gift shop. Hugo stops dead at a display of Stonehenge snow globes. This is magnificent. Who thought, what this ancient mystery needs? Fake snow! Picking up a fridge magnet. 25 quid for a magnet. 25 quid! I could get a crate of Camden Pails for less than that. The commercialisation is rather unfortunate, but the proceeds do fund preservation work. Examining a Stonehenge tea towel. I must buy this for my mother. She will think I have become very English. They queue for the shuttle bus. Around them, tourists pose for selfies with a visitor centre in the background. Look at them all taking photos of the building instead of waiting for the actual stones. Half of them will probably post it on Instagram and claim they've done Stonehenge. But why does this make you angry? They are excited. Because they're missing the point. It's not about the photo. It's about standing where people stood 5,000 years ago and feeling connected. Ah, I see. Am I right in thinking this is a bit British? A quiet passion, no? Again, I think that no is... If you're French, can you tell me if at the end of sentences you sometimes add a no as a question tag, a bit like Spanish people do? Thank you. Yeah, you could be onto something there, mate. Exactly. Scene 4. The Stone Circle. The shuttle drops them at the path around Stonehenge. The stones loom ahead, roped off, but still significant. Tourists walk the designated route with audio guides pressed to their ears. They are, modest, but also imposing. You're getting it now. Look at them, Hugo. Really look. Every stone positioned deliberately. The heel stone aligned with the summer solstice. The trilithons perfectly balanced without mortar or concrete. But Chris, why ropes? In France, you can touch the stones at Karnak. You can touch them. Because some kid drew a smiley face on it about 10 years ago. Yes, we do have this ability to ruin it for everyone else, don't we? Same reason we can't be trusted to drink beer in a real glass in a crowded environment. Yeah, 5 rounds in and that pint glass starts looking like a decent weapon of choice. I hear that some vandals also chipped off a piece of the heel stone in 2008. Not surprised. So I'd say it was wise to rope it off. It's about preservation, after all. These stones have survived 5 millennia. We can't let them be worn down by tourists wanting selfies. A family nearby struggles to get the perfect group photo, asking strangers to take multiple shots.
Halliday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength, Halliday! Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner, by knockout, is Halliday! Halliday, bring it on!
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
They work so hard for the perfect picture, but the stones, they just exist. They do not perform. That's it, exactly. They don't need to perform. They just are. They continue around the path. The audio guide drones on about post holes and carbon dating. The lady is very informative, but she makes it sound like homework. British education in a nutshell. Take something amazing and make it feel like an exam. Well, the archaeological evidence is fascinating. The Aubrey holes, the blue stones from Wales. Ah, Chris, look. They all stop. The late morning sun catches the stones at an angle, casting long shadows across the grass. For a moment, the other tourists seem to fade away. Always gets me, this bit. Makes you think about all the people who have stood here, doesn't it? Exactly. Bronze Age farmers, Roman soldiers, medieval pilgrims, Victorian antiquarians, all wondering the same thing we are right now. What is the thing we wonder? Why? Why did they build it? What did it mean to them? Perhaps the mystery is the point. If we knew everything, it would just be stones. Bloody hell, Hugo. That's actually quite deep. Scene 5. The Red Lion. Amesbury. Half an hour later, the trio sits in a traditional pub. Pints on the table. Hugo has a coffee. The conversation has moved from archaeology to philosophy. I thought it would be more dramatic, like in the films. Mist and druids and ancient chanting. Well, there is mist sometimes. Early morning visits can be quite atmospheric, actually. No, I'm not complaining. It is better this way. It is, what is the word? Understated. Could you use this for the coffee? And then this for the pint. Now you're getting it, Hugo. No melodramatic bullshit. Just subtle understatement. Yes, quiet power. The stones, they do not shout. They whisper. They whisper, and you must be quiet to hear them. That's exactly what I was trying to explain earlier. It's not about spectacle. It's about continuity. About being part of something that stretches back to the dawn of civilization. And this is why you rope them off. Not because you do not trust people, but because the experience it must be contemplative, respectful. Look at you, Hugo, going all philosophical on a Tuesday morning. In France, we would probably have son et lumière shows, projections on the stones, very impressive, very modern. Good God, no. Exactly. This is what I understand now. Some things they are perfect as they are. The mystery is more powerful than any explanation. Funny thing is, I always thought it was a bit overrated, but hearing you talk about it, it's making me question my skepticism. It's not really about the stones at all, is it? It's about the questions, about wondering what it was like to live 5,000 years ago and still caring enough about something to move enormous rocks just to mark it. To quiet power and to ancient mysteries in a modern world. And to not needing all the answers. To Stonehenge and to seeing it through fresh eyes. Outside, coaches full of tourists rumble past, heading for the stones. But inside the pub, three friends sit in comfortable contemplation of mysteries that don't need solving. So, next week, can we do something really British, like queuing for something unnecessarily? Now you're talking. I know just the place. There's a pop-up fish and chip van that only opens for 2 hours on Saturdays. Oh, God help us all. Fade out as their laughter mingles with the comfortable sounds of a British pub on a Tuesday afternoon. The end. Next time, Hugo discovers the ancient British art of standing in line for something that probably isn't worth the wait. But that's rather the point, isn't it? There we have it. What a lovely adventure to Stonehenge. I don't think the next episode will be simply just about queuing for the sake of queuing. If you have a place in mind that you'd like Hugo to visit, then tell me in the comments. Also, I'd really like to know if you've ever been to Stonehenge and what you thought about it. You know, was the gift shop any good? Remember to grab the free PDF that accompanies this episode to get the most out of this story by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the show notes. I think we will leave it there for now, but have a lovely rest of your day. And if you can, help someone else have a lovely day too. That'd be nice. I've been your host, Charlie, and you've been listening to the British English Podcast. Bye-bye.